Raging and raring to go, the Chicago Bulls.
Another win in Phoenix for the Bulls tonight.
The Bulls have just won over the Phoenix Suns in a thriller here.
It was a complete team effort tonight by the Bulls.
Air Jordan is silent no more.
It's been quite a night for Bulls fans all throughout the evening.
Michael Jordan, 55 points tonight.
The best and most complete team coverage of the Raging Bulls.
The Chicago Bulls are world champions for the third year in a row. I'm Corey McFerrin, Channel 2 News. Now Jordan, 2 seconds, lets it fly.
And hello and welcome everybody to the Sports Center along with Craig Kilborn. I'm Carl Ravitch. I mean, how else can you sum up the sudden and shocking retirement of the NBA's greatest player, Michael Jordan, the world's most recognizable athlete, so despondent over the death of his father, has decided to call it quits.
We'll try to sum it up over the next 30 minutes, the career of the NBA's best and the world's most famous athlete. Wednesday in Chicago, Michael will hold a press conference at 10 o'clock Central Time to announce his retirement.
Here's how the big decision came about as we understand it. Tuesday, Michael Jordan walked into the Bulls training facility and told General Manager Jerry Krause that he intended to retire. League Commissioner David Stern also was told early Tuesday. Tuesday night, Jordan threw out the first ball at the American League Championship Series. From a private box, he watched with the rest of the country as NBC's Dateline reported his retirement. Soon thereafter, Michael Jordan hurriedly left Comiskey Park. Now, Jordan was quoted in the Chicago Sun-Times as saying, quote, "The thrill is gone. I've done it all. There is nothing left for me to do."
Jordan's retirement has surprised many. On ESPN's 2 Talk To on Tuesday night, James Worthy, who played with Michael at North Carolina, and AC Green reacted to Michael's decision.
This is the first that I've heard, and I'm shocked. I'm just as shocked as the next person. The guy's a competitor. You know, if I had to bet, I would never say he would ever retire. You know, you'd have to throw him out of the league. But life is bigger than basketball, and I think, you know, Michael is a very intelligent young man, and his being content and being happy, I think, is important to him. And I think he's weighed both sides of the coin, and you know, decisions are tough. Decisions are tough. You either make them or you don't. And he's made them, and you know, you got to respect that. You really do.
We do have that story. He will announce the retirement tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. The sources have confirmed the story. Michael is going to retire. How about AC? How does that hit you?
Well, I mean, it's shocking, as James said. It is, but at the same time, I can understand it, because life is much more than dribbling a basketball, and it's just too many other variables in life. He has his own family. He has his mom and everyone else in that particular family, so there's a lot more going on, and so I can sort of sympathize with what's happening with him now.
I saw him do things in college that I haven't seen him duplicate since he's been in the league, and it's incredible stuff. So I knew he would be an all-star, a Julius Erving type, but I didn't think he would turn out to be the man.
And as this show rolls on, we will show you highlights of the man. Obviously, very few were made aware of this decision. I think it's important to note here that Jordan went to the ALCS Tuesday night thinking no one would know about this retirement. Soon as they did, he was forced to run out of Comiskey, and that is precisely the type of existence he's trying to get away from.
Yeah, one of the Michael's best friends from the NBA is Charles Barkley, a teammate on the Dream Team, a golfing buddy, another big star who can relate to the pressures of being in the public eye. Charles reacted Tuesday night to Michael's retirement.
The thing that probably bugs me, because if a friend of yours make a decision, I think you have to always stick by him. But I think we had always made a thing that we were going to retire the same year. So that's the thing that disappoints me more than anything. I wanted, and I think he wanted for us to retire together. We came in together. We wanted to lead together. But obviously the events of this summer have changed everything. So I can understand that. But I just want him to be happy, and that's my most important concern.
There was an important baseball game in Chicago Tuesday night, game 1 of the ALCS, but the big man in the city of broad shoulders was the topic of conversation.
He certainly became it during the game. A certain hush fell over the stadium when word began to circulate that Michael was retiring, and following the baseball game, the baseball players talked basketball.
While we have a tendency to hype professional sports, I guess sometimes you dig deep down inside and you find that maybe there's things that are a little more important. So whatever reasons, I just hope that he's at peace with that decision. It's still shocking to a lot of people, but Michael's got to do what's best for Michael.
Did you guys hear about Michael Jordan's retirement during the game at all, and what do you think about it now?
I just heard about it now. I'm not real worried about it. I'm not really going to think about it.
Michael has reportedly told several people that the death of his best friend, his father, is the chief reason for his retiring.
James Jordan was shot and killed in August. The state of North Carolina now plans to seek the death penalty against the two 18-year-olds charged with the murder. There is no denying that when James Jordan was killed, a very large part of Michael died as well. Only two people can tell you how a father and son really feel about each other, the father and the son. But in the case of James and Michael Jordan, the relationship was out in the open for all to see.
I asked Michael one night why it was so important that he checked to make sure his dad was around, and jokingly he said, well, as long as my dad's in the building, I know I'll have at least one fan.
Now, the New York series was one of those fatherly advice type of series, so I kind of asked him, what should I do? How should I attack? Should I feed off my teammates, or should I go out and be the leader and let them follow my lead? And like most fathers, I mean, he said, take the lead. If they don't follow you, they don't follow you, but you have to take the lead.
James was the biggest Michael Jordan fan in the world. He attended every game he could get to. It was James who stood behind Michael as his son clutched his first championship trophy.
Now he's got the burden of winning a championship off of it, and I think he'll concentrate right from the beginning next year to really making his team better. And ain't that scary? It's scary as hell if he does that.
It was also James who stood up and took responsibility for last season's road trip to Atlantic City. And it was James who came to the defense of his son during the Slim Bowler trial.
Michael's human, just like everybody else, and I think that what he did, you know, in private was not anything to be ashamed about, you know. People's gonna make of it what they want to.
But as quickly as Dad came to Michael's defense, Michael was in his father's corner. The same limelight that Michael lived in, he tried to shield his parents from.
They're saying that I'm trying to pay off some shady business debt my father has. He said it in a tone of voice as if it was preposterous. But the point he was making is, he said, look, say what you want about me, but leave my family alone. Don't do this to them. Leave my family alone.
But James seemed to enjoy the attention, whether he was throwing out the first ball at a Cubs game or appearing in a television commercial with Michael.
Son, is there a reason why you wear them?
Definitely.
James Jordan was just a smaller version of his son. They looked like each other and lived for each other. And like most of us, James Jordan was a fan of Michael's. A fan second, but a father first. Well, throughout this show, we will be recapping the amazing numbers that Michael Jordan amassed over his 9-year career.
In the time we have, it would be impossible to recount all his highlights. The following are just a few of Michael's magical moments.
He entered the league in 1985 as a curiosity. He will leave the game as its king. Michael Jordan arrived with hair, his own shoe line, in a game that incorporated a montage of the all-time greats. Jordan could draw on these talents depending on the situation, whether it was a dunk, a pass, a steal, or a win. No NBA stage was void of his one-man play. With championship banners hovering over him on an April afternoon in 1986, Jordan lit up the Celtics in the Garden for 63 points. But Jordan didn't want to be known as just a scorer. He was a winner in college and the Olympics, and was out to prove that that title would apply also in the NBA. He claimed his first crown in 1991. The fire to repeat brought him back to the summit the following year. He showed the Blazers that he could deliver the knockout blows from inside and out. And then he was asked for 3 in a row. No problem. Just ask the Phoenix Suns. But Michael Jordan is more than just numbers, more than just stats. He arrived in an era when he was asked to take the baton handed off by Larry Bird and Magic Johnson. Michael not only took that baton, he ran with it, refusing to hand it off. Jordan leaves the game having doused his competitive fire, but he leaves his team, the league, and his opponents gasping for air.
Well, the city of Chicago reacted predictably with shock. Anytime you lose a man who has accomplished what Jordan has, and you know he has the ability to continue to perform at that level, well, many Bull fans were going to feel cheated by this. You never know how good it is until it's gone, except in the case of Michael, and we all knew how good we had it, didn't we?
Yes, we did, and retiring in his prime at age 30. Well, more on Michael later in the show. Also had a look at the other big story in Chicago, the ALCS.
There was another big story. As we go to break, here are some more Michael memories. You know, before he won titles, he was known for doing this, dunking. moves like these, that's where we got the name Air Jordan. Born the legend as soon as he came into the league. Twice the NBA slam dunk champion. Once again, Michael Jordan retires at the age of 30. SportsCenter and a look back at Michael continues in a moment. And it's amazing to think that as recently as 1990, all three of these guys were dominating the game. Of the last 14 NBA titles, either Michael, Larry, or Magic was on the winning team 11 times.
Oh, yeah, for Michael Jordan, every night he played, he was on stage, and no one could dominate a game like Mike. April 20th, 1986, Jordan versus the Celtics. Michael on fire over Danny Ainge, lighting up the Celts for 63 points. McHale looking very slow. More when we return.
Michael Jordan scored 63 on the Celtics, and that's something I didn't think anybody could possibly do.
Done it all, and he has won it all. Along with Wilt the Stilt, he's the only man to win 7 straight scoring titles. He could play defense with the best of them, named to the first team 6 straight years.
Are you ready for some wild, wacky stuff? It's Coach Michael as a Tar Heel.
You know what? Michael Jordan held several members under 20 points. Members of the NBA, members of the college game. Michael Jordan, the defensive player. He came out of college. We never knew really what he had playing under the Dean Smith system. That was the team concept. Well, he stole the show offensively. He also stole it on defense, picking pockets like they were going out of style. He was named to the NBA All-Defensive Team 6 times last season. Michael Jordan led the league with a 2.8 a game steals average. Craig and I return with more on MJ in a minute.
Basketball career outside of the NBA. 2-time gold medal winner, won it in 1984 in LA, playing for the General. Bobby Knight helped Dean Smith to his first NCAA title as coach at North Carolina, and Michael was the Player of the Year in 1984. Running with that Tar Heel theme, Michael, as a freshman, lit it up against Georgetown.
Yes, he did. Not often that Dean Smith would call on a freshman to hit a big shot, but that is exactly what he did, and MJ delivered. Michael, the early years, 1982, Jordan from the corner knocks down the shot. Dean Smith and MJ celebrate. Craig and I return with more on Michael Jordan in a minute.
This pro basketball scene, a scoring machine like his Royal Airness, a career regular season average of 32 points per game. That's a record. Including playoff games, Jordan has scored 60-plus points 5 times and 50-plus points 33 times. We talked to a friend of Phil Jackson's on Tuesday night, and he said after the death of James Jordan, Michael said, I'm either going to retire or I'm going to dedicate this year to James and have a career season. He's decided to retire. We're going to go to the live press conference in Chicago in a few minutes. We'll join that live.
You know how press conferences go. Michael Jordan has allegedly said 11 a.m. is when he will announce his official retirement. You wonder, Craig, if this is, I believe for now it's sincere, but there is a good chance that a guy like Michael sitting on the sidelines going to be in serious pain watching the other players play. Larry Bird went through the same thing. So did Magic Johnson. As we leave, you're going to take a look at some more of Michael's magic moments. And from a strictly selfish point of view as a fan, when you watch this, just bear in mind, Michael is only 30 years old. There are so many great shots left in this guy. So many great shots we have already seen. Thanks for watching, everybody. So long.
Good morning, I'm Bob Lee, live at the ESPN Sports Center. Momentarily, we will be taking you to Deerfield, Illinois for the live announcement of Michael Jordan's retirement. A stunning development in the last 14 hours as the world's transcendent athlete at the height of his fame, at the height of his game. The man who could fly is going to walk away from an NBA career at the top of his profession. 9 years in the league, the last 3 NBA titles, the 7-time NBA scoring champion, but his life certainly this past year scarred by tragedy and controversy. Principally, of course, the death of his father, James Jordan, a man murdered this past summer in North Carolina. And, of course, Michael living his life constantly in the public eye. Jordan, the central figure in basketball's global explosion, a man known throughout the world. This announcement today coming 23 months less 1 day since Magic Johnson retired. And in short succession, in less than 3 years, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, and Michael Jordan will be leaving the National Basketball Association. This all began last night. Michael Jordan throwing the first pitch out at Game 1 of the American League Championship Series at Comiskey Park in Chicago. Jordan, who loves to golf, tremendous athlete, throws out that first pitch. As news of his announcement, the impending announcement spread, Jordan in a luxury box mobbed as he left the ballpark in the 7th inning, and reports began to circulate that Jordan indeed was going to retire from the NBA. The reaction throughout the league, swift and emotional. Larry Bird a few moments ago releasing a statement through his agent saying that he was very sad to hear about Michael's impending retirement. Quote, "He was a true joy to watch on the court, whether he was your opponent or your teammate. I wish him the very best in life." And last night, Michael Jordan's opponent in the NBA Finals, the man who really now has the mantle of the leading superstar in the league, Charles Barkley, has these thoughts about hearing the news.
The thing that probably bugs me, because if a friend of yours make a decision, I think you have to always stick by him. But I think we had always made a thing that we were going to retire the same year. So that's the thing that disappoints me more than anything. I wanted, and I think he wanted for us to retire together. We came in together. We wanted to lead together. But obviously the events of this summer have changed everything. So I can understand that. But I just want him to be happy, and that's my most important concern.
That a very common theme from all the friends and the teammates and those who know Michael Jordan, the wish for his happiness. Just a few moments ago in Chicago, John Paxson, for so many years Jordan's backcourt mate on the Chicago Bulls, saying that's the important thing to Paxson's mind, wishing that Jordan would find happiness and in his decision to announce that retirement. Again, we will be going live to Chicago in just a moment for the live announcement and to hear some more of the reasoning behind Michael Jordan's decision to retire after 9 years at age 30, a transcendent athlete, calling to mind athletes such as Sandy Koufax and Jim Brown and Rocky Marciano, men who have left at the very top of their profession. More reaction last night from a man who played against Jordan in the pros and with him in college, a man who was on the court when Jordan sprang into the national consciousness in New Orleans in 1982 when he knocked down that 17-foot jumper to win North Carolina its first National Collegiate Championship for Dean Smith. James Worthy last night on ESPN2.
This is the first that I've heard, and I'm shocked. I'm just as shocked as the next person. The guy's a competitor. You know, if I had to bet, I would never say he would ever retire. You know, you'd have to throw him out of the league.
And we leave James to get quickly to Chicago as Michael Jordan and his wife making their way onto center court at the practice facility. And momentarily, we will begin. We expect some teammates to be there. And we'll be talking to some of them, hopefully, at the conclusion of this press conference. But this is Michael Jordan's moment.
Shut down one second. I'm going to talk first. Go ahead. Somebody's going to identify who's sitting at the table. Who? No. Either Brian or Tim. I'll say a few words and then so you'll jump.
We'll introduce for identification purposes left to right. Curtis Holt.
The logistics of this press conference being ironed out. Jerry Krause, Phil Jackson, Jerry Reinsdorf there. Michael Jordan, you had a glimpse of NBA Commissioner David Stern, who was there. And the order of speakers. And of course, Here's Jerry
It's always a
Reinsdorf.
late night for many of you. I'm sorry to get you here this early. I just have a few words to say, and then we'll hear from Michael. This is a very bittersweet day. There's a certain sadness because the greatest athlete to ever play a team sport is leaving the game. But it's really, for me, a very, very happy day because somebody who I admire and respect is doing exactly what he wants to do, and I'm absolutely convinced that he's doing the right thing. About a year ago, when we were getting ready to begin training camp for the last season, Michael spoke to me about losing a little of the zest for the game and wondering about how long he would play. Of course, he did play, and we won another championship. Several weeks ago, at the Jordan Foundation dinner, Michael again brought the subject up and said that he was considering not playing. I asked him at the time not to make a hasty decision, to be sure that he thought everything through, and that when he came to that decision, it would be one that he could live with and one he was absolutely certain of. We agreed at that time to get together in a couple of weeks. We did. Last Sunday, October the 3rd, Michael and Curtis and David Falk and I met in Washington at David's home. Michael reaffirms his decision. I made absolutely no attempt to talk him out of it because I was convinced it was the right thing for him to do. I only asked him to do one thing, and that was not to make the decision final until he spoke to Phil Jackson and to Jerry Krause, which he did, I guess it was yesterday morning. And after meeting with Phil for an hour and with Jerry, Michael again was convinced he did the right thing. I think all of us who know Michael are convinced that he is doing the right thing. He's living the American dream. The American dream is to reach a point in your life where you don't have to do anything you want to do, you don't want to do, and everything that you do want to do. So we respect the decision. We're sorry to leave him, to see Michael leave, but it's really been an honor and a pleasure for me and for the people of Chicago to have had Michael here for 9 years. I can only imagine what it was like seeing Babe Ruth, because I think this man, I used to say, was the Babe Ruth of basketball. I've now come to believe that Babe Ruth was the Michael Jordan of baseball. Michael?
Thanks, Jerry. I think everyone knows exactly what the circumstances are right now in terms of my decision not to play the game of basketball in the NBA. Doesn't mean I'm not going to play basketball somewhere else, but I've talked to all my confidants, my family, my friends. As Jerry has just informed you, to the organization. I even talked to David Stern as of yesterday and even today, and I'm very solid with my decision of not to play the game of basketball in the NBA. Reasoning being, I've heard a lot of different speculations about my reasons for not playing, but I've always stressed to people that have known me and the media that has followed me that when I lose the sense of motivation and the sense of to prove something as a basketball player, it's time for me to move away from the game of basketball. It's not because I don't love the game. I love the game of basketball, I always will. I just feel that at this particular time in my career, I've reached the pinnacle of my career. I've achieved a lot in that short amount of time, if you want to call it short. But I just feel that I don't have anything else for myself to prove. And I met with my teammates, some of my teammates this morning, and it was very, very emotional because they meant a lot to me, and we have shared a lot of time together over the last 9 years. Paxton being the guy that I've been with for the last 8 years, and other guys I've spent a lot of time for the last 5 years, and we've achieved a lot. We've gone through a lot of stages, and my success has been as much as their success. They've been a part of that. My family's been a part of that. My wife, my father, who, as everyone knows, has left us. And I guess the biggest gratification, I'm a very optimistic person. I guess the biggest positive thing that I can take out of my father not being here with me today is that he saw my last basketball game. And that means a lot. It was something that he and I have talked, and my family has talked for a long period of time. He advised me, quite frankly, to retire after my first championship. But we had many discussions, and my discussions was that I still had a lot to prove as a player, and I wanted to win more. At the end of the year, after we won our third championship, we talked once again, and I was kind of leaning towards that direction. And he knew that, and my family knew that, and it was just a matter of waiting until this time when basketball was near to see if my heart would change. And I went through all the different stages of getting myself prepared for the next year. And the desire was not there. And it wasn't like everyone had speculated about all the different media pressure and different pressures that I was feeling. I deal with pressure all the time, and I've always said that I would never let you guys run me out the game. So don't think that you've done that. This is my choice, and I've always wanted to make it my choice. And it's a choice that I've chose to live with. And certainly it goes without some reservations a little bit, because I'm gonna miss the game, I'm gonna miss the opportunities of winning extra championships and spending more time with teammates for 8 months and going on trips or whatever, and some of the things that men do in basketball. I'm gonna miss it. The psychological warfare that Phil put us all through in 8 months, I'm gonna miss that. But at some point in time, you have to look at the future. I think one thing about my father's death is that it can be gone and be taken away from you at any time. And there's still a lot of things out there for me to achieve. There's a lot of family members and friends that I haven't seen because I've been very selfish in my career to try to get to this point and make sure that I achieve all the dreams that I want to achieve. Now that I'm here, it's time to be a little bit unselfish in terms of spending more time with my family, my wife, my kids, and just get back to a normal life, as close to it as I could. It's going to be tough, but I'm very happy with my decision, and I'm very glad that I'm in a position to make that choice. A lot of times you guys do all the pushing, and now I'm taking the lead, and I'm doing all the necessary steps to walk away from the game when I feel I need to. But I'm glad for the fans and for the organization, for the support that they have given me and my family, and for the league. I think the league has gone from somewhere that a lot of people had little doubts about the personalities and probably the image, to where it's probably the highest rated and most watched professional sport that there is. And I think that means a lot to all the guys who played in that era, especially myself. So thank you, and hopefully I don't see too many of you guys in the future. And, now you can go somewhere else and get your stories. And this is probably the first time I've met this many people without a scandal around. So it's really a great feeling to hear all the thank yous, and certainly the support of these people here from my corporations and Nike, Gatorade, all the people that I deal with. They've been very supportive of my decision, and I think that means a lot as a person and as an endorsee of that product. So thanks, and I'm willing to answer some of the off-the-wall questions that you guys are going to give me.
Michael, would you have made this decision if your father was still been with you?
Certainly. I would have made it even if he would have been here. It was a decision that I was contemplating about when the season ended. So naturally, when my father died, it put a little bit different emphasis on life in general, but it didn't alter my decision no differently than what I had already basically leaned toward.
You say you're not in the NBA anymore, in the fight for the driveway or the championship?
Yeah, I'm in the pickup games now. I'm here with my pickup games, and I feel the desire. I'm still an avid basketball fan. I'm still an avid Chicago Bulls fan, and I will come to some of the practices. They haven't banned me from the practices like they banned you guys, and I'm still looking forward to watching this team be successful. A lot of people doubt this team because of my retirement. I don't. I just think that when a father sends his kids out to college, that kid has to stand up on his own 2 feet. And I'm not saying I was a father of this group, but I took a lot of the pressures and some of the heat. But I know this team is prepared to step up and take what they want. And I told Scotty, I told BJ, I told John, I told all the guys, you still have the faith, you have the ability to achieve what you want to achieve. You just got to believe in it. And you got to go through all the determination processes that you go through every day to step on that basketball court and prove or feel you have something to prove. And that was one of the reasons that I stepped away from the game, because when I stepped on the basketball court, it wasn't anything else for me to prove. That's one of the reasons you guys have gone into my private life, because you can't blame my basketball. Will I ever unretire? I don't know. You know, I think the word retire means you can do anything you want from this day on. So if I desire to come back and play again, maybe that's what I want to do. Maybe that's the challenge that I may need someday down the road. I'm not going to close that door. I don't believe in never, and I won't ever believe in it to this point.
Get on somebody besides Gene Gricko.
Excuse me? Yeah, my home is here. My wife is from Chicago. I can't take her anywhere outside of Chicago. Her family's here, and my kids has only known Chicago, and I've built some great roots here, and I like to remain here. And you know, as long as you guys stay away from my house, I can have peace and quiet. Do I say that again now? I don't think I ever would have a normal life, but I think it could be reduced some, because there's going to be other stars, there's going to be other focuses in the game of basketball and in the game of sports. I realize it, but if it can lessen just a little bit, it's better than what it is now. So I think it will over a period of time. You know, I don't have any reservations about stepping away from the spotlight. The spotlight's been very, very good to me. Hopefully I've been good to it. It's been very something that many people don't encounter. You know, and I've encountered it, and certainly I've enjoyed it. But at some point in time, you just gotta change ships. And I was watching George Brett when he was talking about his retirement, and he had one interesting scenario. And he said that if you ride a roller coaster for 9 years, don't you want to ride something else? And that's where I feel right now. I've been on this roller coaster for 9 years. It's just time for me to ride something else. Golf is my relaxation, you know, and I haven't looked at it as a professional interest right now. My family is the professional interest that I look at right now, and golf is going to be very competitive to me. I think that's going to sap up a lot of that competitive attitude that I had for the game of basketball. Excuse me? Toughest decision was leaving the team.
Mic up there. Put your mic up there, JR. Run it up there.
Right down?
We don't have any sound.
Well, nobody does.
We lost his audio,
I'm pretty sure you guys can hear me. I don't think so. You know, I'm from Chicago, and I want Chicago White Sox to win. And I think they have a good chance of winning. You know, you guys can't hear me?
Why don't we wait until they fix the power?
Want me to wait? I've been waiting for a while. I don't mind. All right. I hear all your questions, but no one can hear my answers, so I'd rather wait if you don't mind.
Start looking this way for questions, Mike.
I will. I'm blindsided on my right side. What's that? Going to New York to play with Patrick?
Frank Thomas.
Is that him?
Huh?
Who's that guy?
Oh, that guy. He says it's a Frank Thomas contract, and his wife thinks they're going to lose.
Hope this works.
What is
this working?
No.
If you've just joined us, there are audio problems at the site, which they're working to rectify. But Michael Jordan saying he'd always stressed that when I lose the sense of motivation and the sense of that I need something to prove, that it will be time to step aside from basketball. They're attempting, obviously, at the site to fix the problem which has afflicted all the microphones there, apparently, for the public address and for other news outlets. Just there's Scottie Pippen there on the right-hand side in the glasses, just part of the teammates. Bill Cartwright behind Pippen, members of the Bulls. Phil Jackson there, Jerry Krause in the lower left-hand side, John Paxson in the denim shirt to the left. Members of the team watching this, and the Gremlins have struck. But Jordan saying he had reached the pinnacle. He had nothing left to prove. The desire just not is there. And time to think of his wife and kids, that there are some reservations that he has. And Jordan not ruling out a return, saying he might need that challenge sometime into the future. As Michael Jordan said just a few moments ago, I don't believe in never. But he said that he would have made the same decision had his father been alive. And it was just yesterday that North Carolina prosecutors said they will seek the death penalty in the capital case against the 2 young men charged with murdering James Jordan in August. Again, they are still attempting at a rather hastily assembled news conference to rectify the public address problem so that a very historic moment can be recorded by everyone. As we said, it's 23 months, yes, it's Timeout Chicago, 23 months less 1 day. That's the Magic Johnson retirement announcement, and now we understand that we have sound back. Or do we?
It's a brushback, Phil.
This announcement 1 day after Larry Johnson's $84 million contract is announced, but this obviously not a factor. This is something Michael Jordan had talked about and had considered for some time.
If you fellas could ask a question and everybody else be quiet while Michael answers, we can continue. So why don't you just have one person ask, Michael will answer, and then take another question.
I don't know if they can hear me.
They can hear you.
So everybody's got mics up here so they can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Is it working now? Oh, God, thank you.
Thank you.
Question was, how do I want to be remembered as once I walk away from the game? Well, I mean, everyone wants to be remembered for the good things, first of all. I just want to be remembered as a guy who enjoyed the game, played it 110%, always had something to prove, and when that challenge was in front of him, he stepped forward and proved it. Loved the game, totally enjoyed it, would play the game even if he didn't get paid $1. That's how much I love the game. But in these days of economical means, it doesn't happen as often. But I just want to be remembered as a guy who enjoyed the game and certainly played it at 110% every time he stepped on the court. Toughest decision as I was beginning was my teammates. You know, I really loved them a lot. I told them it was a lot of times where you know, different personalities had to clash off the court or even in the locker room. But when we stepped on that basketball court, everybody loved everybody. Everybody had the same focus and the same goals in mind. And that's something that's going to be missed a lot. But, you know, I had to do it for my own sake, but I knew that I had enough memories to remember those times and those feelings. And that was very tough to talk to Phil and talk to the organization and tell them it was time for me to move on. I slept good. I had a great roommate. I felt real good. It was tough, you know, because this was a tough decision to make, and it was a tough announcement for me. But there's many nights I don't get much sleep, and I go out and play games, and I mean, when I'm nervous, I say what's on my mind, and I guess this is a great time to do it. No, because Melissa, I've always told you, as well as everyone who's watched me, that I never wanted to leave the game when my skills started to diminish. Because once that starts to happen, I feel the foot in my back. You know, people pushing me out of the game, saying that I don't have the skills that I used to have. I think one thing that I like to remember about my game is that I tried to maintain high consistency levels every year. And I felt when the consistency started to diminish, the foot started pushing. And I didn't want to get to that situation. I wanted to, when I get to a pinnacle and I feel that my skills are still good, I'm not starting on the downside of my career, I want to walk away from the game. And it's been very fortunate that I'm on top. And I'm coming off 3 championship seasons. I'm coming off a great situation with my team where the team believes in themselves and a lot of them have stepped up and gained their identities and their own expectations for themselves. This is the perfect timing for me to walk away. Can I remember any of?
Can you envision anybody with
It will, always will. That's just the way life is. You're always going to have a better man out there somewhere. It may be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 10, 20 years down the road. It's always a better man somewhere. And that is not one of my fears, because as long as I was playing the game, I believed in myself as a basketball player and certainly as a person. And hopefully when that person comes along and maybe have the impact as a Magic Johnson, Dr. J, myself, Larry Bird, Charles Barkley, you know, he feels the same way. But it will be another player in that nature. I would never do you guys' job because you don't have sympathy for normal people sometimes. And I think I like to give myself a little bit more credit to have sympathy for other people. No, I think a lot of people, a lot of times over the last few years have tried to make me the ambassador of the league. And I've never accepted that role. I think it's a lot of players who must carry that label of the NBA. So that if something like this happens, when a player reaches a point in his career he wants to step away, there's enough entertainment, enough people who are in the spotlight to carry that label. And that's what I think, that's where I think NBA basketball is now. You got a lot of superstars in this league, and with myself stepping away, there's other players to carry that label. Dr. J did it for many years for himself. He carried that label for a long period of time. I don't think it's ever going to be a person who want to accept that responsibility for themselves, by themselves. I never wanted to do it. I don't think Larry, I don't think Magic, any one of them wanted to do it, and I don't think they did. So I think basketball is here to stay, and I think you got other rising stars who can carry that label. And I think it will be successful continuously. Hey.
He got even with you.
I guess he's even now. Yeah, I heard you last night. You took it the wrong way. I don't appreciate what you said. My whole initiative was to do it today. And it leaked out yesterday. And the reason that I did it here today is training camp starts Thursday. I wanted to get it over and done with before training camp starts because I feel the team has to start on their own 2 feet and they should start on the first day of training camp. That was my initiative for doing it today. It wasn't to overshadow the White Sox. If it was, I wouldn't have went to the game. You know, I went to the game to support, and I'm here to support the White Sox. I'm not here to overshadow anyone. I'm here to say goodbye to the game at this particular time so the lives of my teammates and of the franchise and of the Chicago Bulls move forward starting Thursday when training camp opens. That was my initiative. I can't hear all you guys.
You mentioned that the motivation factors were no longer there for you. How can you tell?
I should have expected that question from you. I expected it because I am in touch with my feelings about the game, about my skills to the game. I've always been in tune to what's right for me as a player and as a person in these circumstances. And that's what I went with. I went with my feel, not with the circumstances surrounding that. If I didn't have the desire to step on the basketball court and have something to prove, then I must admit that. I can't step out there and know that I'm out there for no reason. it's not worth it for me. And I don't think it's worth it for my teammate. When I step on the basketball court, I'm out there for a reason, to prove something and to help my teammates achieve. If I step out there for any other reason, you know, it's not me. And I didn't want to go through that scenario.
Was Jordan some games this year, and most likely which ones would you?
I will attend some games. I won't tell you which ones, because I like to surprise the team and certainly eliminate you guys bringing more pressure to that particular game. But I am a fan, and I still want to go to some of the games. I will talk to some of the players. I won't give any coaching. That's Phil's job. But if I can be a friendship to any of the players and help them through some trying times with the media, I'm willing to pass my advice to them. And that's not to talk to you. Excuse me? No, I've always respected the media. I will continue to respect some of you. You guys have a job just like I have a job, and I've always respected that. And sometimes you've gotten on my nerves, and sometimes I've omitted it, and sometimes I have admitted it. So I've always tried to keep a good, clean relationship with you guys, and I don't think I have any bitterness towards you guys as I walk away from the game. I'm not a hatred type of person. I don't carry no grudges, or you know, when I'm walking away with a clean slate. And I wish you guys well in your careers as reporters, as well as, you know, my teammates and their success. My contract situation, you know, a lot of people had a speculation that I'm leaving because I'm not getting paid these astronomical dollars that some of the other players are getting paid. You know, I signed my contract when I signed it. You guys have known that for years, that, you know, when I put my name on that dotted line, I'm not going to go back and cry about what I'm getting paid. I've always put it in a situation, as you guys probably deal with in your own profession, if you deserve a raise, you would get a raise. I will not ask for any compensation because I'm walking away from the game. I didn't walk away from the game because Larry Johnson got $84 million for 12 years. That's great for Larry Johnson. He had the leverage, he should do so. If anybody else come in the league and they got the leverage, they should utilize it, because your length of prospering in your abilities in playing in the game is very limited. So you should take advantage of it. I'm very happy with my financial situation, and I will not sit here and twist Mr. Reinsdorf's arm or whatever and ask him for a compensation as I walk away from the game. He's been very straightforward with me, as much as I've been straightforward with him. My contracts have been extended to 10 years, playing basketball and not playing basketball. And that's something that's part of the relationship that we have had with my endorsees. So I expect that to continue, and with the people, with my endorsees being here, I think that shows the support that they have had for my decision, and I don't think it's going to tarnish my relationship at all with them.
Juanita, do you feel a sense of relief in this? Over these 9 years, pick out one or two in your mind, maybe the Cleveland shot, one of the 3 titles.
The first title is probably the biggest thrill that I've had, because coming into the city of Chicago, it wasn't a bright situation, and we were not on top. We were not even in the middle. But I've seen every stage to get to the top, and the city's probably been waiting for a long period of time, because all they had to say was wait until next year. And it gives me great gratification that during the time that I played the game of basketball here in the city of Chicago, they don't have to say that anymore. You know, they got bragging rights all over the country. For many years, it's been known as a gangster town. Now it can be known as a championship town. And hopefully the White Sox can carry that on, as well as other sports. But that's the fondest memories that I can have about the city of Chicago and its sports programs.
I would say it's a pretty good bet that nobody will wear number 23 on the Chicago Bulls again.
That wasn't a bet. He doesn't bet.
Mrs. Jordan, do you feel a sense of relief finally at this decision from this announcement?
I support Michael's decision.
Mike, would you consider possibly taking this management at the time All-Star team was taken over your?
No. Magic's got a whole different agenda than I do. He still wants to play competitively. I don't. I want to play leisurely. And I want to do it with smaller companies and smaller people than he's doing right now. And I don't non-support Magic Johnson. I support him. I'm not saying that's what I want to do. I want to do other things than to play basketball as an exhibition situation. I don't want to do that. Did I? No. No way. My heart has been here. I can't even think about playing for another team. That's not even a train of thought. No. My Olympic days are over and done with. It was great. I think every athlete who never really had that opportunity to represent their countries should do that. Either NBA or college, doesn't make a difference. It's the greatest feeling that you can ever go through. Anybody try to talk me out of it? A lot of people have. And I needed that, that side of the coin to make a good picture of what my decision was going to be. But once I made the decision, everyone supported it because they understood from my point of view. Out of 100%, I would say 95% supported me. Another 5%, wanted to see me play. And it wasn't of selfishness. They just felt I had a gift that would be kind of missed. And that's the highest compliment that I can take in that circumstance. But I had to make a decision for myself in that circumstance and for what I want to achieve and what I had already achieved. No, Charles changes his number every week. And I did see him last night on television, and we've always talked about retiring at the same time. But I think it's a little different scenario between Charles and myself, being that I've achieved a lot in a lot of my goals, and I think he still has things that he wants to achieve. Sadly, that I couldn't hang around till he do those things because I was standing in his way. Now that I'm out the game, I hope he does, as well as Patrick, because he's a good friend, and other players. But I wish that we could have left the game at the same time, but it just wasn't the same focus and the same goals left for both of us. I'm going for the Bulls all the way. Charles, I love him as a friend, but I love the Chicago Bulls as a family because that's where I was bred and that's where we achieved a lot, and I live in Chicago. So I want the Chicago Bulls to continue on. Excuse me? Well, I was pretty much decided at that particular time, but I think what he made me realize was how short life is. And that was an era that I had to look at. How quickly something could end so quickly and so innocently. Naturally, I was saddened by it, and it took me a while to deal with it. But I'm an optimistic person. I took something positively from it. And yeah, he had some decision in making me realize how valuable life is, and then that in turn made me make my decision even simpler. But I was leaning and very much in that direction way before he passed. Excuse me? No. If so, I'd still be playing. I looked at basketball. I even talked to Phil. And I asked Phil, quite frankly, is it anything for me to prove as a basketball player? And he thought for a second, and that's all I needed. Because if it was, he would have told me real quickly. And that's the way I left it, basically. It wasn't anything for me to prove as a player.
We're still planning to open the season on November 5th. and we're sure it's going to be a great season.
We're going to take about 5 more minutes of questions from Michael. The other participants on the dais will be available, so if you want to get 5 more with Michael.
When you heard serious impressions of leading the game with the team, not many professional athletes have ever done that.
That's how I wanted to be remembered, is that, you know, I conquered a lot. What was very, very intriguing and very important was that when I got to the pinnacle of my career, I achieved practically everything I could from an individual standpoint and from a team standpoint. And it really made it easy to walk away while you was on top. And yeah, very few people do that. I was just happy that I was in a predicament to do that.
Was Jim Brown at all involved on that? He voted you different.
Well, you know, I mean, you're talking to a guy who was maybe 6 or 5 years old when Jim Brown decided that. I've heard Jim Brown was one of those athletes who did that, but that didn't have anything to do with my decision, and that's not a knock on Jim Brown. That's, you know, I had to deal with what I'm faced with and deal with it what's in the way that I feel best suits me.
Michael, do you envision you might wind up missing the cheers, the accolades? I mean, a lot of athletes sometimes, when you've had so many of them over the years, do you envision you might miss that?
No, I think it's been real good, and I've always been very fond of the respect that I've received from the home fans as well as some of the away fans. But I'd say when I walk away from the game, I won't miss the cheers because it was there. It was there. I can remember those things, but I don't need it to live. I don't need it to survive. And that's very important for me. Will I ever buy ownership interest? No. I don't think so. I think...
Don't say never.
I won't say never. That's not in my plans as of right now. I don't know if I got the desire to do that. I see Jerry, he's living a hard life. I don't know if I can go through that. He's got to make some tough decisions, and that's tough. Well, I knew that would happen someday. It doesn't matter when, but I knew it was going to happen. When I walk away from the game, a lot of people, especially the kids, would be disappointed. But if parents are watching this and certainly could touch their kids, as you probably can touch your neighbors or your kids, is to let them know that basketball is great to play it. It's an enjoyment, it's a fun, it's a hobby. But it's a lot to life other than sports and to you know, football or basketball or whatever. And yet my life goes on. I'm still in love with the game. But at some point in time, everyone has to make a decision to move forward away from games. Either be it your choice or someone else's choice. And I've just been fortunate that I can make that choice now, instead of one of you guys pushing me out and saying I'm old and, you know, it's time for me to move on. So I know that kids are going to be disappointed, but hopefully they learn that Michael Jordan was once a basketball player, but now he's a human being, he's a man, he must continue on, he has a family, he got other things he must achieve.
Michael, besides golf and your family, what will you do?
In retirement, you do whatever comes to your first thought. You know, it's relax. Enjoy the time that you've been deprived of for many years. I still have opportunities to get with my companies and do some certain endorsements and certain business opportunities within them, and that's what I would do whenever I feel that time hits me. But up until that point, I'm gonna watch the grass grow, and I gotta go cut it. Yeah, I'm capable of relaxing. I've been relaxed for the last couple of months. So I am capable of just hiding from you guys and doing what I want. I hope to. If I get a pot belly, then I start exercising. No. It's good for everybody to go through training camp, and it was fun going through Phil's. And yeah, I will miss it a little bit, but I won't miss it. The league is strong. I think David Stern has done a good job in making it strong enough that if this day came and everyone knew it was going to come, that it was strong enough to survive. This league will survive. It's got enough stars to take the places of the stars who just left the game.
It's in different forms and different fashions, but it's there. And the game is still as entertaining as it was. It may be in different fashion and maybe not with the familiar faces, but the game goes on. It always will, and it always will be just as exciting, I think. And you know, I think it's been preparing for this moment, and it's just going to move forward. Excuse me? Would I miss the sport? I'm pretty sure I missed the sport. To come back, that's a different thought. I can't answer that. I'm not making this a never issue. I'm saying right now I don't have the mental drive to come out and push myself to play for a certain focus. 5 years down the line, if that urge comes back, if the Bulls have me, if David Stern lets me back in the league, I may come back. But you know, that's an option that I would never close on. You know, I like to have that option, and you know, that's something that I'm willing to deal with and take the chances with.
What's the next step for getting your normal life?
Walking away from you guys in a few minutes. That would be a good step.
Time for 2 more questions.
When did this become something that you started thinking about something that
Well, I mean, as I got later in my years and as I got more successful with the team and I achieved so much as an individual, I had lesser to prove. I started gearing towards that decision of when would be the correct time to walk away. And now is the correct time. I really feel that. I felt it in college after 3 years, and I feel it now after 9 years. I won't have any regrets. I won't look back. I will move forward, and certainly I think I will succeed wherever I move.
Michael, has this been an emotional time for you as you considered this decision?
Yeah and no. My mind's been made up. The emotional thing has been listen to guys try to give me an opposite side of the coin because they showed emotion, and that in turn made me feel really good and made me show emotions. And but when I thought about it deep down, as I've thought about it for a long period of time, I was doing what was right. And that's all they ever wanted was what was right for me. Do I need a job? No. I never had a job. I don't want one now. Well, I mean, not just to a superstar, but to any players. As I talked to my teammates, and I told them, this day is going to come for everybody. Enjoy it while you have it, because it's very limited, and it is a treasure. And even with Shaquille and these other stars coming into the league, you'll be a star for a while. You may get tired of it. You may want to step back. It's always your choice. When you do it, don't have reservations. Be happy with your decision, like I'm happy with my decision. And I don't have any reservations about it.
Thanks, Michael.
My special contribution was the tongue. You never saw anything like it, and you won't ever see anything maybe not like it again. Thanks, Al.
Charlie Grantham of the Players Union embracing Michael Jordan, who's now leaving with his wife, and it is a true mob scene at Deerfield at the Bulls Training Center. Michael Jordan saying in his own words that it's time to move forward away from games. I won't miss the cheers. I don't need it to live. I don't need it to survive. And at this point, every member of the media, and our own Andrea Kramer among them, hoping to perhaps get another word with Michael Jordan, who has just announced his retirement. He talked about the passing of his father, how quickly and innocently things can end. But as he mentioned several times throughout the course of this press conference, he talked about having nothing left to prove, how he had been mulling this decision over, as Jerry Reinsdorf said, since early in the summer, and began to take shape even before the passing, the murdering of his father this past year. But at this point, Jordan saying that it was a firm resolve in his mind to move forward. In fact, his father had advised him after winning the first NBA championship to retire. Let's step back in time about half an hour to when Jordan talked about that, about the effect that his father's passing had on his decision.
Certainly. I would have made it even if he would have been here. You know, it was a decision that I was contemplating about when the season ended. So naturally, when my father died, it put a little bit different emphasis on life in general, but it didn't alter my decision no differently than what I had already basically leaned toward.
9 years of Bull, 8 years of those with John Paxson. He is standing by live with Andrea Kramer. Andrea?
Thank you very much, Bob. We appreciate this, John. I know this is a difficult time. What was your reaction when you heard the news?
Well, I think like anyone, you're a little stunned by it. But really, this is something that Michael's kind of hinted at for the last couple years. And to be very honest with you, I'm not shocked from the standpoint that he's retired, because I never looked at Michael as a guy who was going to play 12 or 15 years in this league anyway. I think that the point he stressed to us was that he wants to go out on his own terms, and that's exactly what he's doing. And we've all been a part of his life for a number of years, and I'm happy for him that he's able to walk away from the game the way he wants to. There can't be any better way to do it.
Is it almost as though it has not sunk in yet, the impact of all this, whether it's your teammate, the Bulls' chances of going for a fourth title, just the fact that this person is not going to be in the team anymore?
Yeah, it's really a sad day for the NBA, because Michael's meant so much to the league, and the charisma he has, the impact he's had on the profession. I can't even think in terms of the Chicago Bulls right now. I certainly can't put on a brave face and say that we're going to be the team that we once were, because Michael has defined our character as a group. And so that automatically overnight is gone. But I think as a friend of his today, you have to look at it as this is a good day for him. And I think in a lot of ways there's some weight off his shoulders, and it's a decision he's happy with, and there's nothing more you can really ask.
Throughout the words that he was speaking at the press conference, he mentioned, "I'll never say never," referring to the possibility of him returning. Do you get the sense that that could happen, and what might ever make him return back to the game?
Oh, I don't know. I think he comes here today with the idea that he won't play again. But you don't know what's going to happen. I think the important thing for him today was that training camp starts Friday, and he didn't want to have us feeling that he was going to come in and save the day. This is a decision now where he's committed to sitting out an entire year, so now he's allowed his teammates to go on with this year and try to prepare the best we can. I think he's thought of a lot of things, been very considerate in his feelings towards us and the organization. I think he planned it very well.
You said that Michael spoke to you collectively, the teammates that are here this morning. What did you guys say back to him?
It was real emotional. It's hard to, I don't know if I really want to share what was said. When I was sitting up there, I was thinking of this is a day that I'll remember for the rest of my life, having shared a large part of Michael's basketball career with him. It gets emotional. It gets to where you say things that maybe you haven't said over the years because the time wasn't right, but the time certainly was this morning. And I think guys just expressed how thankful they were to have the opportunity to play with the greatest player of all time.
What is his legacy in your mind?
Michael's I can't imagine anyone before him or anyone after him being, first of all, the competitor that he is, the player that he made of himself. He had such a will to win, and I saw that every day. And I just can't imagine another person coming along and being the same type of basketball player that Michael Jordan was.
Overall, is there just a feeling of shock? Or you had mentioned that this was some time in coming, and people have said that it was not the death of his father that sort of put him over the edge, so to speak. Do you feel that indeed this was some time in coming?
Oh, I certainly do. I think he was very honest when he said that he's been thinking about this ever since the first championship in '91. Yeah, I refuse to speculate. Michael's his own person, and if this is a happy day for him, and I'm happy for him because he's made a decision that he wants to live with, and he gave us great thrills and 3 championships, something that in this modern era of basketball has not been done. I feel very fortunate to have been a teammate of Michael's.
Thank you so very much, John Paxson. We appreciate it. Thank you very much. Well, Bob, as you can tell, it's almost a feeling of shock, and yet a lot of this was expected by some of his teammates. And right now, I am joined by the man who is probably most impacted by this, if that's possible, Jerry Reinsdorf. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. You said that you did not even try to talk Michael out of doing this. Why not?
Because I admire and respect and love him too much, and clearly this was the right thing for him to do. And it would not have been honest for me to tell Michael that I thought he should continue playing, because I don't believe he should continue playing. He's come to a point in his life where he needs to go and do something else.
There's been some time, particularly with the gambling allegations that arose during the playoffs, that Michael was very bitter toward the media. How do you think, what sort of an effect do you think that ultimately had in his decision?
I don't think it was a major thing, but you know, all big decisions are based on a lot of little factors. And Michael was put under an awful lot of pressure the last several years. He was expected to live to a standard that nobody can live up to. He was criticized for things that he shouldn't have been criticized for. That probably had, you know, some bearing on it. It took some of the fun away. What he said was he always said he would stop playing when it wasn't fun. Being hounded is not fun. That may have had some bearing on it, but on balance, I think he just decided that there was nothing else that he needed to accomplish. He used the expression extra championships. He needed to win 3 to show that he could do more than Larry and Michael could do. But anything after this is extra.
When Magic Johnson retired and he kept coming back, it was a very almost ambivalent situation for the Lakers organization. Now Michael's retired today, but he has left the door open to come back. What is the reaction to the organization on that?
Well, we'll deal with that when the time comes. But knowing Michael, if he ever decides to come back, that will be a correct decision, and we'll support that.
Will that happen, do you think?
I don't know. I have no idea. The only thing I'm concerned about is I want Michael to be very, very happy, and I want the White Sox to win tonight.
Thank you very much, Jerry. We appreciate it. Hope they do win for you finally. Well, Bob, I mean, that's a whole other point which we haven't even addressed, which is, oh, by the way, there is a championship series going on here, but as happened last night and is certainly the case, quite overshadowed by these events.
2 things, Andrea, that really stick out in my mind. You touched upon some of it with Jerry Reinsdorf, and that is the question of the media. In fact, he had said, Michael, that the media doesn't have sympathy for ordinary people. Also the question of privacy. You live in Chicago. You know what it's like to be around Michael Jordan. He lives in a glass bubble unlike any other in the world.
No question, and we have, over the years, we have sat down on several occasions, and he has made this point over and over again, that it's difficult for him to live like this, the scrutiny that he's under. It really came to a head, as I mentioned with Jerry Reinsdorf, during these past playoffs, when the gambling allegations forced a media onslaught, not anything like what we saw here today, but certainly forced him into not speaking to the media. And the irony, of course, as we remember, is that his father was speaking for him at that time. His father's not there now. The irony that I thought also, Bob, is that he said that he would have made the same decision even if his father was alive today.
All right, Andrea, thanks. We'll see you on the Expanded Sports Center at 7 o'clock Eastern Time tonight as we continue to look at the impact of the story of Michael Jordan's retirement, saying, I won't miss the cheers. I don't need it to live. I don't need it to survive. Leaving on top, the world's transcendent athlete, age 30, leaving on top like Jim Brown, like Sandy Koufax, like Rocky Marciano. Michael Jordan announcing his retirement, 3 times the world champion. After this word, back to your regularly scheduled programming.